guys, it's Adam from This Pixel, and today I have a very, very special treat for you. A treat that ended up being bigger than I expected. My original intention was just to record a video and share with you some of my favorite art books and resources and learning practices to help get you on your ways to creating better art. However, I ended up being spoilt a little bit because 5 of your favorite artists were generous enough to donate their time and their effort to producing their own little contributions to this. Books, resources, principles, learning platforms, you name it. And boy, did they go out of their way to do something really, really special for you guys. So my huge thank you to everybody who contributed. I'm going to start. I'll initiate the conversation with 2 books and 1 platform. So the books that I'm going to share with you are 2 books that are geared around particularly creature design, okay? Since that's my particular specialty. And the first one is one that I would consider foundational and incredibly valuable if you practice it. And that's The Science of Creature Design by Terrell Whitlatch, Understanding Animal Anatomy. She takes you through animal by animal by animal, every imaginable animal, from bones to muscles to skin, all of these different species. And there's pretty much every species you could ask for. Pangolins, for instance, which I realized had incredibly fascinating anatomy as well. Bears and birds and fish. If I skip forward, cats, of course. You got to get our cats too. Then she gets into dinosaurs. My recommendation in terms of how to use this book would be to take it page by page and practice and apply each animal individually. Really, really cool. Mythical Beasts, an artist's field guide to designing fantasy creatures, and by 3D Total Publishing. And this book does cover anatomy to a certain degree, but what this book does a little bit more of is it starts to get into the creative side of artistry. Fantasy, right? How you can start to mix reality and fantasy together to create these unique, compelling, and diverse different styles of animal. Fantasy meets reality. And that's, to me, what being a fantasy artist is. It's bridging that gap between fantasy and reality. It gets into the spider. This definitely has Dark Souls vibes, or this cool kind of like giant squid type of creature. It's beautiful illustrations with a lot of descriptions. Look at these like this is right up my alley, isn't it? It's kind of stuff you're going to see me do a lot more often. This last recommendation is actually a resource that I share with my students. It's something that I actually introduced to my students, and it's called Zygote Body. And if you look at it over here, when you log in, it's free, by the way, it's completely free. They do have a paid version that does cross sections and stuff, but that's not necessarily useful for artwork, okay? And if you look at it, I have a full 3D model of a male or a female. Right now we're looking at the female form, okay? And I can zoom in and out with the mouse. I've got a mouse to use it with. You can use it with a trackpad, but I find it's a little bit easier to use with the mouse essentially. And I can rotate it around in 360 degrees. And if I grab the model and I pull all the way up to the top, I can look at a bottom view, and then I can zoom in and out like that, or the opposite. I can go to the top view like this, and I can zoom in and out as well. Now, right over here, by default, when you go onto this, you're going to notice there's a vertical slider. And what it does is it goes through the entire figure, all the way from the top all the way to the bottom. So first you go through the skin, then you have the breast tissue, then you have the superficial muscles and the deep muscles. Then it goes to the ligaments, then the bones, then the digestive system, cardiovascular system, lymph node system, and the nervous system. And if I keep going, you're going to see it goes all the way through down to the last little bit right there. What is that last little bit? Well, if you want to find out, click on it. That's the 3rd ventricle of the brain. When you want to use this for practical purposes, let's say you just want to kind of figure out where certain muscles are. You just want to kind of know, okay, where the deltoids connect to the humerus, for instance. Then what you can do is down here at the bottom, I can click this, and it switches to vertical sliders or horizontal sliders, where now I can control each section separately. I just need to have, for instance, the bones and the muscles, right? So now I can just look at the bones and the muscles, and I can rotate around and all that kind of stuff. And let's say there's a certain muscle in particular you want to isolate So what you do is you'd go through and you find, okay, I want to see the sternomastoid over here. Okay, so I click on it and that pins it. Now, if I get rid of the rest of the body, if the rest of the bones, or the rest of the muscles, it remains visible. See? Like that. Now, if I want it to stay pinned, I don't want it to go anywhere, then you pin it like that. It's going to pin it. Now I can remove the muscles and now I can see everything visibly. And I see, okay, the mastoid of the skull, and here's the manubrium and the sternum over here. I can see where I can see where all of this connects. Cool, cool, cool. For artistic purposes and for general knowledge, chef's kiss. But that's enough from me.
Brad, would you like to share your 3 favorite art books? Yes, absolutely. I would love to, Adam. I think I have it narrowed down to 3, but I'm only going to cheat a little bit. The first book is actually part of a series. This is How to Think When You Draw by the Etherton brothers featuring Lorenzo. If you spend a lot of time looking at art on Instagram or online anywhere, you've probably seen their tutorials before. Every page of this book is like a how to draw this thing. So you have horse heads, you have bird heads, you have horns, running figures, character shapes, angry expressions, happy expressions. And I think they're up to like 7 of these books now. I have 6 of them, but once a year they run a Kickstarter. That's the main way to get them, and they reprint all of the old books. They're totally worth getting. That even comes with this like encyclopedia page, this index. So whenever I go to draw anything, I check this first before going online to grab any reference. Now the next book is 2 books. I've cheated again, which is called Point Character Drawing by an artist named Taco. Now some people turned me on to these in the comments. They said these are absolutely great reference guides for drawing people and forms and that sort of thing, and they're absolutely right. This is fantastic. And what I like the most about all the things that are drawn in here is the amount of energy each and every one of these poses have. So it's not just about like how to draw an arm or how to draw a body in this way. It's about capturing the energy of that pose. So it's not the most exact anatomy because some of it is about exaggerating and what parts you exaggerate and what parts you shouldn't exaggerate. Anyway, fantastic reference. And lastly, like you, I'm a fan of art inspiration books, so I had to pick one. This is the art book for a game called Sea of Stars, which is like this pixel-based throwback 16-bit era-ish game, but all of the reference art was drawn by a guy named Bryce Coe, who is phenomenal. This is my jam. Just hundreds of pages of character references and amazing like designs and clothing and just, oh my gosh, so much good stuff in here. This is amazing. Like all the creature design is modern, but also kind of throwback to the 90s. I love this stuff. So those are my 3-ish choices. Thanks for having me, Adam.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Vickery from the Lighting Mentor YouTube channel. Adam, 3, really only 3 resources or books? Wow, this is really hard. So I'm just gonna be sneaky and put these 2 together. James Gurney, I love his work and love Dinotopia. And then when he came out with Lighting Color and Imaginative Realism, these 2 are awesome when it comes to understanding how light works and then how to use it for visual storytelling. Top picks, love this. The next book that I would give is, I worked at Pixar for many years, but I still love The Art of Pixar. And this is not so much of like, you know, a how-to, this is just the color keys. And I love color and light, and I love teaching people and creating color keys. So this is just a big book of all of the color scripts and color keys for lots and lots and lots of Pixar films. I love this, I reference this a lot. This is really, really awesome. And then the last book that I have is one that is not so much about art, but it helps me in my art, and this is Daring Greatly from Brené Brown. And this is about really having mental health and dealing with anxiety and being able to be strong, and this is the only way that I can be resilient enough to be professional in a work environment and to know how to deal with conflict. So those would be my top 3/4 picks. Thanks, Adam, for including me in this.
Hi guys, I'm ISTEBRAK. I'm a professional art instructor. So Adam has asked me to talk about my most recommended art resource for students, for growing students. And it's actually not any specific book or media source. It is a study subject, and it is form studies. Form studies are an inexhaustible resource for developing your core rendering skills. What that means is that you'll be encountering more form instances of light on form and matter. So you will be in the form study environment encountering edges and the types of edges, contrast control, value selection, edge control, and radial shading. You'll be understanding light rays, light as a vector, surface areas, and bounce light, ambient light. You are increasing your chances of encountering that diversity of form and developing your skill. You will basically increase your skill without any creative pressure. So we remove the subject and leave only the object. We're left with the geometric equivalent of all potential objects. In everything, you are rapidly improving because the actual matter you're studying leaves you with a reliable skill set. It's not just one good face that you know how to draw. And if all you do is masterpieces or character art and you don't really do any dedicated matter studies or form studies, you are going to decrease the diversity of form that you encounter. And that significantly decreases your skill development. Being able to render anything comes from being able to render the core structure under everything, which are forms: cylinders, cubes, spheres, pyramids, rectangular prisms, randomized polygons, suspended globular organic shapes. If you can render all of these things, essentially you can render everything. And the theory really is tried and tested. Many of my students that I assign this to improve so quickly, and then they start seeing the geometric schematics under everything. Everything they look at, everything they see, from faces to objects in their daily life, they start noticing the form structure underneath. If you can see the substructure, you can recreate it on paper. Art is problem solving. Art is throwing together a bunch of random brushstrokes and fixing them as you go. For every 5 brushstrokes you do, you go back 3 and you correct them, and you keep doing this process until the painting is done. And so if you teach yourself how to be an efficient problem solver when it comes to light on form, contrast, matter, background, light environment, you'll be able to problem solve your way through any subject, and your illustrations will have a higher success rate. So form studies are the best resource for students who want to develop a reliable skill set. I really recommend them. The next most important resource I have to recommend is studying movies. And this is for the students that are developing their illustrations, they're developing their portfolio. This is really, really, really important and kind of underrated. There is an amazing website called Film Grab, and you can do this yourself. You can build your own index. So a lot of you guys jump right into your illustrations after learning how to draw a face, learning how to draw any specific subject you like, and you're not sure how to add a background, and you just kind of put this really flimsy background. Your characters usually are awkwardly placed in these illustrations. Usually the viewer doesn't know where to look. The focal point is all over the place. It doesn't have much direction. Well, when it comes to directing, there's a whole school of knowledge dedicated to this, directing the viewer's eye, directing the story. Because of film and videography and photography, the exploration of composition has really been carried by filmmaking, by movies, by photography. Composition is the tool when it comes to filmmakers. These are things that you as an illustrator have to learn how to do. So to study a movie and to study how movies are made, to tap into that resource is to elevate your illustrations and have the viewer's experience be on that cinematic level when looking at your work. It's not just about building a flat Pinterest wall. It's also about watching documentaries on filmmaking, why directors make these decisions, and what does it mean when the camera is low, the camera is high, the character's in full view, what does it mean when the horizon line is tilted. All of these things empower the narrative in your illustrations. And finally, the last and final really underrated resource for you to tap into, which I assign to all my students, is master studies. Now, for a while in your development, early beginner into middle intermediate, fundamentals are often, especially in the lab environment of your class, fundamentals are often seen as this mythological concept. They're just like they're studied individually. What happens when you study a master's work is you see the fundamentals not as a mythological concept, but as a very, very real set of tools that are being used by these masters. And it doesn't have to be a classical master. What kind of brushwork do they have? What kind of texture do they have? Do they overblend? Do they underblend? These are the questions that are directly related to your process. They are so relevant to you. And all of these different resources that I've shared with you today are directly relevant to you. The form studies, the composition studies, and film studies, and finally the master studies. Brushstroke by brushstroke, these different resources help you make better decisions, solve problems quicker in your illustration, and end up with more successful illustrations. Thank you, Adam, for giving me the mic. I hope this was helpful to you guys. Thank you so much, and good luck with your learning.
Hey guys, okay, 3 resources that I absolutely love. First, books. Art of Love, Death, and Robots, right on this table behind me. Absolutely love Death and Robots. The art of book is incredible because The concept artists who worked on that show, it's like they gathered all of my heroes and just made this Avengers of concept art, and their stuff is all together in the same book. Incredible show, incredible book. Definitely a good one to check out. All right, a YouTube channel that you should check out is Design Duels by the artist Jake Plesh. It's incredible. He is an amazing artist, but the whole premise of this channel is he challenges like the biggest names in our industry, and they do a common brief and see how different their processes would be. Jake is incredible, and it's really cool to see him go toe-to-toe with huge artists like Marco Bucci or Cynics and others, and he just keeps adding and adding. Incredible channel, definitely check that out. And my final resource to recommend is this color palette generator, if you haven't heard of this, called coolers.co, so like colors with an extra o.co. It's so awesome. If you're like me, you might just use the same like 4 colors over and over again. This is a really great way to shake yourself up and get out of your comfort zone. You just go to this palette generator and you just hit spacebar, and awesome stuff just kind of materializes, all of these really harmonious color palettes. Hope that's helpful. Enjoy these resources.
My name is Sean. You'll find me on YouTube as the Art Mentor. All right, so today I'm going to introduce to you these books that have radically transformed everything that I'm doing artistically, and I think it's going to do the same thing for you. First off, I've got this bad boy. This is Anatomy for Sculptors. If you have never heard of this, let me introduce this bad boy to you because it is amazing. Okay, so listen, if you are learning anatomy, if you want to get better at it, if you want to understand what the body actually does, this is the resource for you. What this book does is it gives you wonderful references, 3D images, and also photographs so that you can understand in great detail what every single part of the human body is doing. It is fantastic. It will fully help you understand every nook and cranny of the human body. So if you want to get better with anatomy, this is the one for you. Next resource, everybody talks about Color and Light by James Gurney, but here's the follow-up to that one. And this is imaginative realism. So if y'all are like me, you like to do big, awesome fantasy stuff, imaginative realism is going to seriously level up everything that you're doing. So as you casually glance at this one of the big things I want to draw you into is the fact that James Gurney, he's such a goat, but he explains how to go ahead, how to create scenes that don't exist, how to go ahead and create locales that don't actually make sense in our world, but they seem to make sense. And what he teaches you how to do, both through lighting and through composition, and then just through general mindset, is how do you actually make something that looks like it is conceivably within our world, but it's absolutely not. And this goes into great detail about how to light your scenes, and then also like how to replicate some things that you wouldn't be able to do unless you worked in Hollywood and had massive budgets. So y'all that want to make better looking fantasy artworks, this is the one for you. Go grab this one. Now, I wouldn't call myself the art mentor if I also didn't want to go ahead and level up your mindset, because I'm just going to be real with you. A lot of times, you getting better is not a product of just the way that you draw, it's also the way you think about how you draw. So I want to just go ahead and throw these 3 quick ones at you. First off, this is my perennial read. It's called Art and Fear. This is a phenomenal read. It will help you understand why you can't take action, why you suffer from anxiety towards your art making, and why you can't start your projects. Go ahead and give this one a read. Now, one of the most goated authors, you probably heard people talk about this dude, but this book right here, The War for Art, this is a phenomenal read. Again, if you are not understanding why exactly you can't start the thing, you can't do the business that you want, if you can't level up your art and you just feel stuck or you just feel like people are against you, this is the one for you, all right? This will really inspire you. It will help you understand. It'll help you understand how do you conquer what you're going through. Phenomenal read. Go pick it up. And finally, if you really want to feel like there's somebody that understands what you're doing, but then is also able to unlock you at a higher level, I'm going to recommend Rick Rubin's The Creative Act. The man is so sagacious. He's so eloquent with the way that he speaks. And he's also just very simple. Like, this is all these books, they're very simple language. All right. I quote these heavily in my dissertation because I think that all artists need to know about them more. If you want to learn some more from me, go ahead and check out my channel on YouTube, The Art Mentor.
Well, hopefully you enjoyed those amazing recommendations. A huge shout out and all of my love to ISTEBRAK and Hardy Fowler and Brad Colbow and Jeremy Vickery and Sean Bianchi for contributing not only their time, but amazing quality and amazing recommendations. My cup runneth over. You guys are so awesome, and I really, really appreciate it. So hopefully you guys have appreciated as well. All of the recommendations and the links to all of their socials and all that awesome stuff is down in the description below. And of course, let me know what your favorite recommendations and any recommendations you might have as well in the comments below. All right? Mwah. Take care.